mine, Frank Karsten, was talking about with his post-Pro Tour affinity perspectives, and the way that, he has this very interesting kind of modular approach to building sideboards, because he will see it as a, he doesn't transform anything. He's sort of just tweaking and optimizing. You've got to take one card out, put another card in that doesn't dilute this overall plan that it has. And I think Rally is sort of very similar to that, in that if you take too much of the engine out, you end up with a bunch of 14th draft picks.
There's a very fine line in between how much cards you can take out and so on. And you also have the aspect of like collected company. You don't want to dilute that either, because you want X amount of hits with collected company, because you want to be able to hit 2 creatures at
more or less every time. Yeah.
Like if you miss with collected
company.
Have
you ever missed?
I have missed.
Oh, it's the
worst. It's the worst.
Okay, here's a question for you. This is really going to put you to the test. What's worse? Actually, I think I know what's worse. What's worse, missing with an Order of Bolus or missing with a collected company?
Collected company.
It's got to be a collected company, because at least you got a 1/3. You kind of look, you resent it. You're like, you stupid 1/3 or whatever. You're gonna block something for a couple of turns. But yeah, like you miss with a collected company. It's like 4 mana, discard a card. No, targeting me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
also, your turn.
Also, your go. That's how it goes, isn't it?
I don't know. And that says a lot, because I'm a strong. I'm very against missing with Ogre Balls for good reasons.
Yeah, of course.
Like Pro Tour finals missing.
It
so I know the feeling, but collecting company is actually worse.
What a card, though, Ogre Bolus, huh?
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
What a card.
With Restoration.
With Restoration Angel, of course, can't get past that. Restoration Angel, a card I'm really, really pleased to see back on the map in the post. In a small way, in the post Splinter Twin world in Modern. I was pleased to see the old Kiki Angel combo back to the fore.
You mean in blue, white, red?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it has seen some play for sure. It has also been seen some play in this this other collected company list or the chord list.
Yeah, like the chord list, of course.
We have Kiki chord. It doesn't play collected company, of course, but we also have Absen company.
Yeah.
And that can also play our old friend Restoration Angel.
Oh mate, that's it. Yeah, I really love that card. It's been good. You know what? I mean, I'm not sure what sort of opinion this is, to be honest, but I liked the Splinter Twin ban. I did. I thought it fulfilled the aims of the format. Sure, there was a lot of grief about it still being a turn 4 kill, a very fair deck, whatever else, but it didn't. I understand and sympathetic to different perspectives on the format, but I think that's sort of that level of shake-up, and obviously it's gone in a very different direction, perhaps to the one that was designed. But I think the Splinter Twin ban was actually a very good move. I really do. I think it was a good philosophical move.
Yeah, I like the Splinter Twin ban as well. The problem was the invasion of Eldrazi. I don't know how much it would have differed if they didn't ban Splinter Twin as it is now, because I think that Splinter Twin would have a very hard time dealing with Eldrazi.
Yeah.
Like most of the creatures actually just not dying to bolt, the most important ones, and they rip cards out of your hand, and they play like for Mendic Dismember,
you're in big
kind
trouble.
of a nuisance. But I also like the ban in the overall spectrum.
Yeah, I think it's just a good sort of a step that was taken in the right direction, really, with the health of the format, more generally speaking. Anyway, that is enough of that chit-chat, my friends. We've flapped our gabbers for long enough. It's time to head down to the feature match area. We're going to get underway with our maiden voyage, ladies and gentlemen, in this Bazaar of Moxen in Madrid. It's a great pleasure to have your company once again. Riley Knight in the booth with Yoel Larsson here.
That's right.
Great pleasure to have you here, the Swedish superstar here to crack some skulls. Also here to crack some skulls, we've got Crespo Aurelio facing off against Pato di Sant'Anaya. I'm almost certain that I said that incorrectly, but I tell you what, I'm from the other side of the world, and I'd like to see you pronounce some Australian town names in the way that we do like that.
Fair enough, Toshe. Nice playmat, man.
I was looking at that Jester's cap there. I found this deck box in a bargain bin at my LGS back in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah?
Snapped it up for $2. Jester's cap, still got it.
So lucky.
Hinges nearly falling off, but it's absolutely. Do you think I'm not going to search your library and exile some cards? Because I will do it. I will do it. Don't think for a second that I won't. So these two here looking to get underway and crush their enemies. See them driven before them here.
Luckily, being the first feature match we have.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we're really
it's gonna be great.
breaking it in here.
Yeah,
breaking it in. And this is your coverage debut.
That it is.
It is. That's right. You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't think it. The cool
Too kind with
confidence,
your words.
the cool confidence you bring to the table. But it is excellent to to have such a strong level of competence sitting next to me. I mean, I'm very used to it with the EU coverage team being
Sure.
what it is. But I mean, I'd be floundering. Okay, very and the players choosing to suboptimally have a high roll rather than a
Odds or even.
rather odds and evens, which is strictly worse, I would say.
Sure.
And here we go.
And
An interesting way of dealing out his starting 7 there. I've never seen that before. We've got the classic fan technique on the left there, but we had the sort of football formation, the 2-3-2 there
I've never seen that before.
from
That's
Santanea.
interesting. So where do we have here on the left? I think I saw some live from below. Liliana maybe. So it might be something similar to our good old friend Raphaël Levy's loam deck.
Yeah, that looks like a Grove of the Burnwillows to me, so it looks
Yeah.
like we might have lands on the side of Aurelia. Let's see what Santanea is working with.
And we have a Savannah.
Savannah, alright, so it could be
Interesting.
Maverick. We'll see how things shape up here as
I
we
haven't seen a
as we move on.
Savannah in a while.
No, not for sure. I mean, we had these old Maverick lists, the Night of the Reliquary things, but they have fallen out of favour.
Yeah, a little
Not
bit.
particularly good against Delver decks, but we'll see how it goes.
For sure.
And a Bloodstain Mire opening things up for Aurelio.
So what do you think about the... Oh.
Oh, and a Cavern of Souls.
So are we going to see a Thalia or something here maybe?
I mean, this could be crippling here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what our opponent has to... Our Crespo Aurelio has to respond to this, but I presume there's going to be human here.
We'll see.
We shall see in a second.
Oh, look at that. Can't quite see it there,
For sure.
but we'll find out. We'll get we'll find out what he named with the Cavern of Souls there. And it's back to Aurelio now, so no play for Santillana.
Chooses to crack his fetch in his main phase. See what he gets here. So we have Grove of the Burnwillows.
I think 2 of them in there.
Yep.
Yeah, so this seems to be lands here.
Seems to be lands. What do you think about the matchup between lands and Savannah?
Well, I mean, lands is one of these decks that I mean, I read somewhere someone said that lands is a deck that gets to play just 4 copies of Demonic Tutor because that's what Gamble essentially is,
Fair enough.
and a deck that's very difficult to interact with. But here's Bob. Okay, so
I
Dark
have a
Confidant.
feeling we're not going to see any lands
It
here.
may not be lands.
It seems to be 4 colored, and we have a notification here that Cavern of Souls has a wizard on it.
Wizard, the best name,
Yeah,
the strongest name.
dude, I like that creature type.
Yeah,
Quite a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of good old friends who has been named wizard before.
One of which, of course, is Bob Maher himself, who has hit the exile zone thanks to that Swords to Plowshares. So no extra cards for Aurelio as it stands.
So I believe we have some kind of John deck going
Yes,
on
I
the
think
left
it's
side.
for Liliana as well.
Splashing white at the very least, and we have a Wasteland on the only colored mana here.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, just
wow.
just as we said, y'all, a lands deck.
I'm not sure what's happening right here. Great way to respond to Wasteland, obviously.
Very, very good way indeed,
Probably
of course.
one of the best cards you could have had here
Mhm.
in the format of Legacy.
So Aurelio there, perhaps taken by surprise. We do have him on a Jund list, and I would imagine that splash for very hyper-efficient answers like perhaps Swords to Plowshares. Here's Life from the Loam.
I think I also saw an Erupt Decay in there, so it has to be some kind of Jund mid-range deck, I would assume.
Yeah, grinding out value.
We can see a show and tell over there. And we're playing Cloud Post, of course.
Cloud Post, 12 Post, there we go, alright.
Oh, so Asami. No, wait. Asami instead of Wizard? The one that
Azami's familiar with the scrolls.
No, sorry. Azusa.
Azusa, Lost But Seeking.
Exactly.
Is she a wizard?
I think she's a wizard.
Let's see if she's
it
a
has
wizard.
to be, right? It's the only wizard I can think of in lands.
Courser of Krufix, not a wizard. No,
Not a
also not
wizard
played in
at
lands.
This is also Legacy, my friend.
There's also Legacy. I mean, Courser of Krufix, come on, you're never unhappy to play that.
I kind of like that card too.
Absolutely.
Alright, so we're gonna see if part of the Santillana can find some of this
Azusa
cloud posts.
Azusa is a human monk.
It's a human monk. Wow, I'm really trying to figure out this wizard part.
Okay, well, the way it goes, so that's going to answer that question for us.
Exactly. Maybe we can find a wizard here while they're shuffling. Is that a Jace? No.
So show and tell. That's a show and tell at the bottom
Yeah,
of the library there.
That is a show and tell. I think we have a very spicy list here going on. And Bajuka
And
Bog
Bajuka
and
Bog.
respond to the Life from the Loam.
Very strong.
Very strong indeed. So what Party is really looking for here is definitely some start to his cloud post actually.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't seen anything just yet, which turns on a lot of his really powerful cards like Candelabra and so on. So before he can do anything very unfair, which Legacy is mostly all about, he has to find some of those. So we'll see if he gets there.
So it's a little bit of flirting here. These two wizards eyeing each other off across the battlefield without a huge amount of action going on.
They're both playing kind of the setup game. We had an early Bob coming into play and being killed right away, but that's about it. And here's the first real action of the game, I think.
Here's a huge haymaker. It's Liliana of the Veil.
So this definitely puts a clock on to Pardo. He's gonna have to discard one card a turn. His opponent having life from the loam, so it's gonna be much harder for him to catch up with that discard ability.
Brainstorm number 1, the first brainstorm we've seen. We're 7 minutes into a match of Legacy, and it's the first brainstorm we've seen. What is going on?
Excellent.
Santayana having a think about how he's going to respond to this discard activation. Aurelio playing cards like Life from the Loam. He'll have no trouble discarding those excess lands.
No, he'll just be fine with this. Probably a little bit sad that his Wasteland got Bujuka Bog. I believe that this Wasteland would have otherwise been super great against a Cloudpost player.
Yeah, the Wasteland Loam lock can be absolutely devastating in many matchups, but especially against land-based matchups like 12 post, you're going to be in big trouble.
For sure.
So
it seems like Pardo discarded Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, Swords to Golf Clubs, as it's affectionately known, the Judge promo of Swords to Plowshares there hitting the bin. I'm disappointed to see Santayana there with differing art on his copies of Swords to Plowshares.
Atrocious.
What kind of decision making is that? Here we go. So we're going to see a Wooded Foothills search up something. So look at so Aurelio really in the position to grind out games. There's a main deck Chalice of the Void happening there as well.
For sure.
And so it's going to be cards like Punishing Fire, Liliana of the Veil. That,
I believe so too.
In the game.
Chalice. That's a very aggressive take on the format. Playing Chalice in the main deck.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
I think it's interesting. It should probably mean he doesn't play too many discard spells.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think it's quite interesting to play Chalice in the main deck, especially if you have no way of pounding it out there on turn 1 with the help of like Spirit Guide or Ancient Tomb, something like that.
That is when it's at its best, especially. I mean, it can be very. Just absolutely embarrassing on the draw.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Your opponent goes Noble Hierarch and then it plays like 2 or 3 one drops.
Yeah, and then you're like, Chalice.
Oh, excellent.
Chalice for 1. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No worries.
But it should actually be not that bad against Pardo. It's a little bit late for Chalice here, but
it's still going to shut off a considerable portion of his
Candelabra and Crop Rotation and Brainstorm and
since there's Divining Top, which we see hit the bin.
What do we have here? We have some kind of.
This is a new card.
I'm usually pretty good at this, but I can't really see what that card is. What do we have here? Some kind of flash creature, I believe. At the end of the turn, and we have.
I'm going to see a Fencer. Oh, I love it.
I love that card.
I love that card. I love this card.
It's like one of my favorite cards to play Cube.
Yeah, I like playing it in Modern because no one expects it.
And we have a Caracas to boot.
Oh gee, oh
jeez.
Santayana
putting on all the sweet stuff.
Be still my beating heart. Santayana is really putting us through his paces here.
And we have a Wasteland right away from the top, so he's gonna try to put an end to Pardo's funny business here, I believe.
Again,
so I believe
you can have fun in Legacy.
Yeah,
but
not too much.
Fun. Wasteland's going to help with that.
So
there you go.
Wasteland, so we're going to see if he wants to return his Spencer Respawn, which it does.
I like that.
To avoid it getting killed right away by Liliana. For sure. We got to get some kind of confirmation what that green creature was.
Yeah, that flash creature there putting us to the test here, y'all, Larsson.
For sure.
Not exactly sure what was going on there. We'll see if we can gain confirmation of the identity of that card.
Crespo quickly pulling up his fetch land again since he's already played a Wasteland. Cannot play 2 lands a turn, I'm afraid.
And that's what separates the wheat from the chaff, isn't it, y'all, Larsson?
Exactly.
Yeah, you spotted that. I was completely oblivious to it. I have to admit.
And we see
here it is again.
Once more. And Pardo discarding a show until to the Liliana. Venser, very interesting card to play. It could be said that it's a little bit slow sometimes for the sake of the format, but it's very interesting against opposing show and tell, because it's usually quite good at bouncing whatever your opponent puts into play in response.
Okay, attempt number 3, and we're gonna see a brainstorm in response.
That's right.
Oh. And it's Centaur Vinecrasher, a card from the Commander 2015 released.
And so it does have trample.
So it enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counters to all the number of land cards in all graveyard. Pretty good in a loam deck, I would say.
Not bad, not bad. Quite a big creature.
Oh, I see.
And whenever a land card is put into a graveyard from anywhere, you may pay green. If you do, return Centaur Vinecrasher from your graveyard to your hand. So it's kind of a repetitive threat here.
Another nice little sort of Punishing Fire-esque redundant ability here. So, just the casual 10/10 here. So just the casual 10/10 trample. No worries. Even old mate Judge Rooney's there picking it up to have a read of that card.
And now, I presume the Pardo must be feeling a little bit more inclined about him discarding Swords to Plowshares earlier.
Yeah.
Great card against this 10/10 that comes back. So we'll see what he can find here with Brainstorm to solve this issue.
May have been a little bit hasty with pulling the trigger on that Pajuka Bog there. He did get some good value out of it, but I imagine that in this position, another bog here would be pretty
for sure.
Be pretty good. But unfortunately for Santayana, he's facing down an absolute monster.
Yeah.
There's only so much Venser can do here. Interesting to see Aurelio just slam that creature down again and again and again. I think he just he knows that Santayana's in a bad spot against it. Misty Rainforest off the top for the blue player here.
Pardo. Yeah, and they also brainstorm, so Misty will help him shuffle away any unnecessary cards that he had just brainstorm here. Trying to find something that fixes this crazy 10/10 trample as well.
So Santayana conscientiously moving Venser out of the way there, and he's going to take the full 10, cops it on the chin.
That's right. So he goes down to 9, facing down lethal next turn. And Pressman makes an interesting decision here, where he forces his opponent to sacrifice his Venser, meaning that his Centaur is going to be lethal for sure next turn. If Pardo doesn't find any kind of threat. And wisely, Pardo fetches for a Thundra. So in case he draws a Swords to Plowshares, he's going to actually deal with his
He's going to have to drum up some action here pretty quick, because yes, this Vinecrasher is going to end the game quick smart.
That's for sure.
Unless Santayana can pull something very special. He has a look. It's not a Miracle Terminus.
So let's see what we can find here. He hasn't given up just yet.
Okay.
So it probably should be something.
Is he on that Reed Duke tip here? Never concede. In it comes,
surrender.
and there it is. Never surrender right until you're dead. There we go. So congratulations, Crespo Aurelio, taking it out in style with a 4-drop from a Commander release set. Yes, there you go. Well, I think the moral victory certainly. Anyway this ends up going out, the moral victory is certainly Aurelio's. Playing a card that Pro Tour winner Joel Larsson was unable to identify by sight. So there you go. Well done. Very interested to see this. I love these lists. I love these. I mean, one of my favourite things about playing Jund in Modern is that every time, like you always feel like you're in it. There's always ways to get back into the game. There's always, every card is live, and that Jund deck there was just so grindy. It's always, I think, always able to make something out of the situation.
Sweet deck. And here we have once more, the names are obviously incorrect.
We'll get that fixed up.
We'll get that fixed up in a moment. And we have 4-color Young Pyromancer, or most likely Delver, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so
on
too.
the left side with Nicolas Chabriac. Playing against...
Looks like Bug here.
Bug.
Or Sultai, as the kids are calling it these days.
Exactly. I'll never get used to these names, Riley.
Yes, I know.
I actually managed to say Absan Rally today.
Did you?
Absan Company today. Yeah?
How did that make you feel? Old?
Alright, so we have... we're running the game here. Jonas seems to be at 11, and we have Nicolas at 14. Nicolas has quite a force to reckon with already on the board.
Yeah, some absolute beaters here. We've got Young Pyromancer, Young Peasy with 3 of his goons. There is also a Death Bride Shaman, and of course the big fish, mate. The big fish.
Sweet card, man.
Jonas Null's going to take out the Young Pyromancer here. Chabriac.
So we see some kind of disruption in Nicolas' hand, as we usually see in this Delver list. We have Spell Pierce in his hand. attacking for a mere 8.
Just 8 damage. No
Just
worries.
8.
Jonas Nell says what? You think I'm worried?
No.
Away goes
Shutting
his dual land.
off his opponent on blue mana as well. So Jonas is really gonna look for something extreme here. I'm not sure if there is anything in the format that can help him through a spell pierce here, but
That's true.
dude, I've been surprised before, so
Yeah.
I might as well
Yeah.
be surprised once more.
But no, not this time.
Not this time.
No Centaur Vine Crusher this time.
No.
That's the way it goes. Away they go, and they're going to hit their sideboards for game 2 as well. So Shabriak taking that one out in style. I love it's nice to see the old faces on the scene. We got Young Pyromancer, we got Jethro Shaman, Go-Mag Angler, a new addition, but still, there's nothing better than beating your opponents with 1/1 elemental tokens.
Yeah.
Unless it's 1/1
Excellent.
prowess monk tokens.
Ooh,
That's
like that card too.
That's a step up. That's a step up.
Every creature that forces you to play unfair instants and sorceries in a wide margin is kind of a favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
We
but the
have,
thing is,
As you said, Young Pyromancer.
but Young Pyromancer's too picky. You got Young Pyromancer,
That's
Mox,
true.
and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care
that's
about
true.
that Mox.
That's true.
I'm not. But then Monster Mentors, he's bending over backwards to please you.
But what I mean, you can play both.
You can play well. Yes, you can. That is true. That is true. I think one is certainly a fair bit better. I like to think of playing Vintage. When you're playing Vintage with Monastery Mentor, it's like Storm on hold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like you don't have to storm them out for tendrils. You just play Monastery Mentor, and then that's the storm count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the insane thing about that is that you don't really care about how the stack goes.
Yeah.
When you have Monastery Mentor in play, it's like, oh yeah, you can counter my Mox or you can counter my whatever.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna get a 1/1 out of it, and I'm gonna get I'm still gonna get more than a 1-for-1, so to say.
Watching LSV play Vintage one time, and I think he untapped with a Mentor and had 4 cards in hand, and he said, "Well, I've just untapped with a Mentor and have 4 cards in hand, so if I can't win this turn, then something's going to go severely wrong." And that's just how it feels. That is how it feels.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Mentor make a huge splash in Legacy, though. I mean, I remember Patrick Chapin came with that Esper Mentor list, the one that played Painful Truths, of course. A 3-mana draw 3, very mighty indeed. But we haven't seen it really catch on, y'all.
No, it has not. Typical Chapin deck, I would say. But it might be that Painful Truths is a little bit too slow.
You think so?
Might be. What we saw last game was not the Delver deck against other, but the John deck versus lands, or Cloud Post rather. Kind of more of a slower grind.
Yeah, it would have been insane there.
Would have been great, because some people, the thing to remember with Painful Truths is that if you compare it with Night's Whisper, for example, that is almost essentially the same thing, but 1 less mana, 1 less life, 1 less card. Some might say that, oh, this is just a 2-for-1. And the other one is a 3-for-1.
Yeah.
But the difference is huge. It's actually, as also I believe Chapin advocates, it's actually a double the effect. Because, do you know where I'm getting at?
I don't know where you're getting at.
Alright, so when you play Night's Whisper, you use the card, and then you get 1 extra card.
I see.
But if you play
So
Painful
you've doubled the cards.
Exactly. You use 1 card,
Yeah.
and you get 2 extra
You
cards.
get triple the cards, yeah.
So you get, I think, the way that Painful Truth becomes very powerful is that it's just as double as good as Night's Whisper.
I see.
Effective.
In sort of in the terms of net cards gained,
Exactly.
it is actually twice
I
as
think
good.
that's how
not
you gotta
50%
think
as
about
good.
it. And that's why Painful Truth feels so strong, because
that is some real glass half full thinking. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I do like the card as well, and I mean, obviously playing it with the Monastery Mentor as well. I mean, you can't go past them for 3 drops in Legacy. I don't think. But as you mentioned, in this sort of grindy game here that the lands or the Jund deck is trying to play, I mean, I could see it really having an impact. Maybe coming in out of the board.
Might be. So we do see a Terminus in part of the side. So it plays a very interesting deck, I must say. We have seen Cloud Post. We have it's kind of a mix-up of every deck there is in the Legacy.
This. It's like
I haven't seen a Delvers yet, but who knows?
Just a one-off. Just a one-off. No, I think this is the sort of greatest hits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
Legacy All-Stars.
Legacy All-Stars, yeah. It's like the compilation kids, compilation decks, compilation albums you'd buy when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like best out of...
Yeah, the Hits for Kids 2000 edition.
It seems like we're trying to imitate vintage here in this first match, playing double Moxen on turn 1. We'll see if we can complement this with some kind of a life from below. We also saw a glimpse there of Slaughter Games being boarded in, so we'll see what it has that against.
And it's going to be a turn 1 Zenith for 2 here. Mox Diamond, as you can see on the screen there, a very, very mighty card with the downside of 2 for 1ing yourself. But of course, in a deck with life from the loam, those
might not be so troublesome.
Not so troublesome indeed. We see Dryad Arbor, and is that a Maze of Ith underneath there?
I believe so. I believe so. And we have a turn 1 Scavenging Ooze.
Turn 1 Scavenging Ooze, a mighty play.
Trying to put the pressure on right away. So we saw Terminus in this hand. Last game we saw Show and Tell. Also seen some Cloud Post. I saw Candelabra there when he was shuffling through his deck. So it's going to be very interesting to see what.
Just a bit of everything going on. It's a bit of everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to get back at this, where I'm just actually just excited about what the hell.
Yeah, it's interesting to see it. I think Pato de Santillana is sort of, he forgot to go to the supermarket. He's run out of food in his house. He's had to go through the back corner of the. He's put, okay, I've got a little bit of high tide. I'll put that in.
I know.
Okay, Show and Tell. Yeah, I'll put that a little bit in there. Yeah, okay. Oh man, I'm running out of this. Okay, I'll play 1 Terminus. I like it. I think it's interesting. I wonder. It makes it very hard to anticipate what's going to happen here. In comes Scavenging Ooze. That's in for 2. Let's make that 3.
So this is a pretty sweet interaction where he discarded Dryad Arbor with his Mox Diamond, and also since Dryad Arbor is a creature, you can remove it with Scavenging Ooze to put the pressure on right away. So he effectively played a Walnut Cuddle on turn 1.
Yeah.
With upside.
with further upside. That's right. Here's Candelabra of Tornos, though. So you can see now something of a coherent game plan. Cloud Post into Candelabra. Cloud Post, of course, at the moment only adding 1, but I can't imagine that's going to be stay the same way for long.
That's completely right, Riley.
Chalice of the Void off the top. What do you think of that, y'all?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here, depending on what his opponent has already. Not great, probably, since it depends. We'll see how many cards it can net, so to say. If Pardo draws a fair number of Brainstorm / crop rotations,
I mean that's what it comes down to, right?
That's what it comes down to. And he can't really shuffle those cards away, since Brainstorm is also on lockdown.
I suppose, in a way, if you want to look at it quite optimistically, which I know you're a fan of doing, the Chalice of the Void at the moment has actually snagged the Terminus.
Yes.
For the time being.
Yes.
Because I think that is a card that you see as, being shuffled away almost immediately by Brainstorm. But at this stage, it's not happening. I saw Aurelio. He's got a couple of creatures in his hand. There's not only the Centaur Vinecrasher, which we've all come to know and love, but also a Containment Priest.
Yeah. So that's Crespo obviously saw that Pardo discarded the Show and Tell in the first game. So that's the reason why we see Containment Priest. And then we have a Jace.
Jace Friends Prodigy, here it is. New kid on the block.
Make an appearance in every format.
Absolutely. I mean, this card is absolutely bananas.
I have an idea about Jace Vryn's Prodigy being the best Jace ever printed.
Well, I tell you what, there are many people who would agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better than Jace Mind Sculptor?
I think that it's a battle that Jace Vryn's Prodigy is going to have to fight for a very long time before it finally wins, because you've got to come over, what is it now, nearly 10 years of Jace inertia, a powerful force. Yeah. And I think it's going to be difficult for Vryn's Prodigy to really outclass and outshine the 4-drop consistently and fairly. But, I mean, the power levels are so high with both of these cards.
Definitely. And the better the spells becomes the flashback, the better the card becomes.
Another point you made with Collected Company, yeah.
In the Virtue in Vintage, you can flashback on such travel. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest part to deciding which card is best is like Jace Mind Sculptor is obviously an amazing card when it came out. It completely broke the format. And right now it seems like Jace Vryn Prodigy sees more play overall. Yeah, it's
interesting. It started really playing. Oh, geez, we just missed a pretty crucial interaction here while we're gabbing on about Jace Vryn's Prodigy. So Crespo Aurelio cast a Green Sun Zenith for 3 to grab his Knight of the Reliquary. No problem, not a problem at all. A strong play, except for the fact that his own Containment Priest prevented it from entering the battlefield, and so it was exiled instead.
Quite a numbo.
Not exactly where you want to be.
No.
No.
That was not a great turn for him. And now we can actually see the Glimmer Void coming from Pardo's side here. So
powering up that Locust there. So now the Cloud Post taps for 2.
Exactly. And the problem of casting Terminus has been solved.
Not such a problem anymore.
So now we see 6 mana from Pardo's side, even 7 with the help of Candelabra.
Candelabra, that's right. Okay, so everything coming up Pardo right now, with Aurelio, unfortunately, not utilizing his cards to their best effect here.
No, and also that Knight of Reliquary would have posed a great threat as well. Being able to fetch up Wastelands and similar threats.
More or less mandating Pardo to pull the trigger on that Terminus here.
Definitely.
So, I don't think De Santillana has any cards in the graveyard just yet.
That's right.
So Ultimate Yache a long way from flipping at this stage.
But he does have 2 Master Rainforests in play, so those are essentially 2 cards in the graveyard. He chooses not to try to get any more cards in the graveyard before using Chase, though. Trying to get some more advantage out of that looter build.
I think so. It's funny how sometimes you would rather have the Merfolk looter.
Yeah, exactly.
Away goes the Terminus. Interesting. And we're going to see shuffle here.
And we're going to see what Pardo can present here.
It's Tundra.
Because he's going quite low here, going down to 7 from his fetch land. Containment Priest being a 2/2 bear and all. Is starting to pose a little bit of a threat. Not going to be that much of a problem if Jace chooses flip, give it -2 money but he kind of has to do something here.
Yeah, between the Containment Priest and the Scavenging Ooze, Santillana's going to have to find something. And Moat, that is certainly something.
Yes.
So
Moat... And the attack stopped. All the attacks stopped from Crespo here.
That's going to do it. Exactly right. Moat, of course, saying that creatures without flying can't attack. I think one of the most resonating flavor cards in the history of the game. Oh, there's a Moat. Well, we can't get across it. Can you fly? No, I'm on a horse.
Exactly.
Okay,
that's right.
Well.
That's usually the card I use when I play a really big blocker. I usually call it Moat.
Yeah.
But here we have actual Moat.
Actual literal Moat.
And the problem for Crespo here is that the Jund colors aren't really known for its massive amount of flyers.
No, not Centaur. It's not Centaur Fly Slasher, is it?
No, it's not. I'm afraid. So he's gonna have to find some other kind of game plan.
Cycles on land, yeah.
Than attacking on the ground here.
So punishing fire is another way out, and it's not going to take too much. It's only going to take a few rounds of the fire to come around here for Santillana to be slain.
Definitely.
However, he does have Jace.
Yeah. So we have a very nice name here for our viewers. We have
Show
and Moat.
Show and Moat rolls off the tongue.
I like this deck already.
Yeah.
Can you hear that name? Show and Moat.
Show and Moat.
Woo. Genius.
Show moding all over the place here. I do like this card mode. It's one of those, it's one of those just like one-sided fair.
Yeah.
You just play it and your opponent's like, well, come on, dude.
Well,
come on.
It doesn't really pose for interactive magic, does it?
No.
And now we see a crossing grip, something that Crespo himself would have really liked to
have. Yeah.
And to shut off the Chalice, being able to play cards once more that cost 1 mana. Without them being countered, of course.
Show and tell.
Being discarded, obviously, to the reason that Containment Priest is in play. Not a great card anymore against that card.
Yes. So here is Jace all grown up.
And we can see a Brainstorm in Pardo's hand. Probably one of the biggest reasons why he chose to deal with that Chalice of the Void.
Okay, not deploying the Brainstorm at this stage.
No, I believe he wants to untap and see what it draws here.
Get a look at one more card before. I mean, he does have, what, 7 mana, is it? Oh, we're going to see Abrupt Decay on Jace before Santillana has the chance to untap.
Now, I believe players are trying to decide whether he played Abrupt Decay in his end step or in his upkeep.
Yes, it doesn't seem to have made a huge amount of difference one way or the other.
It usually doesn't. Abrupt Decay is pretty uncounterable, so probably not a big difference there. And now Pardo lost his Jace, but has all the time in the world to cast all the Brainstorms in the world, with Chalice out of the field
So certainly taking his time and thinking about how he's going to play this one, and it's Vesuva.
So here's the reason why we call it 12 post.
Mm-hmm.
We have they usually don't play all 12.
No.
But
But
we have
9.5 to 11 post doesn't quite...
something along those lines, but it doesn't really rhyme as well.
Doesn't have the ring to it.
Yeah, so we have Glimmer post, Cloud post, and Vesuva copying either one.
Yeah, so those are all loci. Ah, but that's enough for a radio. The might of Vesuva, he's seen enough, and these guys are going to go to game number 3.
Moat, not as fun, and we can see...
Well, I'll stop you there. It's fun for 50% of the field.
That's true.
It's fun for 50% of the players.
That's true. And we can actually see in Crespo a sideboard here when he shuffles it up that he had punishing fires in the sideboard.
In the sideboard.
Probably the reason why he considered there.
Yeah.
Boarding out the punishing fires. Didn't think it were going to be great against the hybrid of a show and tell deck he saw in the first game.
Yeah. A sort of glorified shock, not doing a lot in that situation. But yeah, against Moat, he was sort of a little bit kind of stone cold there.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
Interesting games we've had so far. It's good to see. This is what we were talking about, the sort of wild west of Magic here with Legacy.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And here we have
It's Gourmet Angler once again. We had a quick look in on this game here. You see some beautiful black bordered jewels here on the side of Nicolas Chabriac. He's playing a Delver deck, of course. We saw a young Pyromancer and Death Ride Shaman before.
Having some very pretty ponders and brainstorms.
Oh, look at that!
Can you see the card on the bottom right being played? That's a good old draft card.
Oh, there you go. It's the Minister of Pain.
Yeah, that's right. Very interesting to see. A nice way to deal with true name nemesis.
Oh, of course, yes.
That's what happened just a second ago.
Very techy. There you go.
For sure. It's interesting to see that it plays. Maybe he's scared about losing his own creature if he plays like Drowning Hope or stuff like that. Drowning Sorrow.
Okay. So there are a couple of things going on here. So the Minister of Pain cleans up nicely against young Pyromancer and all of his mates. Yeah. True Name Nemesis also a card that is dealt with very effectively by the Minister, and Spell Pierce.
Yeah.
Another card that Minister of Pain he ain't care.
He doesn't care.
He ain't care.
You might think he's an infest, or if he's a Drowning Sorrow, but he's a creature.
That's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. Give your team -1/-1. I'm sorry, I'm going to spell pierce that. Oh, are you?
And we have a concession
That's
as we are rambling around.
There we go.
It seems like Gourmet Angler is all she wrote. And it seems like
that is one card that the Minister doesn't do much against.
No. And it seems like our big player was actually playing Kevin Harpy and stuff. You know what that means?
I don't know.
That means we are playing Aluren.
Oh, Aluren. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this.
Didn't see much of Aluren, which is probably the reason for our player's downfall.
Yeah.
But that's all she wrote. So now we're going to try to head back.
Yeah.
And see what... Crespo can do about this moat that he saw in game 2. He's gonna have to divulge his game plan a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to concede to moat. That's not a good feeling.
That's right. He's going to have to work a little bit harder in attempting to, sort of soak up the thunder that Santayana is putting down. Because he really does have to diversify the way that he's going to approach this game here.
Definitely. So we're gonna have a look at our players' opening hands here in a second. See what they're
working with here.
Exactly.
See what kind of ingredients they're bringing to the table. All right.
This is not Iron Root Chef, you know.
No, not quite. Oh, I'll tell you what, I love looking at that deck. the one that got criticised because it didn't have fork in it. It had everything else. Yeah.
Exactly. I remember it.
That was that was a work of art. That was.
Yeah. Hungry Spriggan.
Vorinclex is in there.
Yeah.
Brawler's plate, so they could eat off something. I really like that.
I remember, I was on that thing.
I was trying to circle around that, but no, you went right ahead and said that was beautiful.
Couldn't help myself.
No, of course not, absolutely.
Alright, so we see the good old Green Sun in this turn 1 for Dried Arbor.
Yeah, deemed too strong for Modern, so of course Green Sun Zenith hitting the ban list as a result largely of that Dried Arbor interaction. And you can see why a 1-mana Farseek is very, very good.
But it's kind of a 1-mana Ladder Elf, I would say.
Okay, that's a better way
I
of
think it's
putting it.
very discussable right now whether it's too powerful or not. What do you think? Do you think it's
I
too
think
good
it's not just... Well, okay, if the card said search your library for a Dryad Arbor and put it into play, that would be okay.
Sure.
But it's a card that just is... It scales... It's never bad. It's too... I don't think it's too good. I think it
Alright.
enables too much stuff that's broken, and it's just...
Alright.
I mean, look, the modern ban list is something that people are always very, very happy to... I mean, before that, I would be unbanning Jace. I would be unbanning Bloodbraid Elf.
A good...
Ancestral Visions.
Yeah.
You know.
And you love your blue cards as well.
Oh, mate, come on. I mean,
Can't help yourself.
Green Sun's in. Don't waste my time. Get Jace up in her.
And here we have a nice reliquary that's going to hit the table this time.
Yeah.
And it's going to pose quite the threat to Pardo here.
Yeah, it really is. Already, look at this. Already a 4/4
Yes.
on turn 2.
So hopefully Pardo finds some way to deal with this threat. Otherwise, the game might be over quite quickly here.
Life from the Loam also in Aurelio's hand, so he's not about to run out of cards anytime soon. I can see Liliana of the Veil is another very strong strong threat here. Santayana, on the other hand, is really doubling down on that mana. 4 mana available to him on turn 3, in addition to anything else, any other lands he might play.
And we shall see whether that actually makes a difference here, because Crespo will have the option to get Wastelands here every turn, sacrifice a land.
That's very true.
So he's going to be able to cut down a lot on Pardo's Cloud Post action here. It's quite terrifying for Pardo, I must assume.
That's actually a very good point, especially considering as Aurelio already has the Life from the Loam. So
yes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Perhaps those Cloud Posts not as relevant as they might be in other situations.
Definitely not. So we can see here. He floats some mana, sacrifices the Bayou to search up a land.
Wasteland? Odds on?
I'll go for Wasteland.
There we go.
Yeah, there we
Correct.
go.
Well done.
And we're gonna see if he wants to put the pressure even more on Pardo with Liliana, or whether he wants to take up his 3 lands here with Life from Loam this turn.
Destroying the tapped one, rather interestingly.
I don't believe he's very afraid of the colorless mana.
No?
You never know. Could be a dismember.
Could be a dismember.
He chooses to go with Life from Loam first. Interesting play. I would have loved to get Liliana into play that turn instead, actually. To be able to go up with its loyalty.
So Aurelio taking 2 cards, 2 lands back.
It seems that way.
And Wasteland number 2 there.
That's very interesting.
Thanks to that life.
Why do you think he just wants to take up 2 lands there? Is it because he wants his Knight of Reliquary to just stay big?
Well, he's not worried about Lightning Bolt.
No.
No.
It's very interesting. Is he worried about Dismember?
Well, it doesn't dismember. It does to dismember
still does
any
dismember,
way you
right?
like.
It's interesting.
I can't quite puzzle that out. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Me neither.
But the Knight now 5/5. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
This guy's
and
huge.
Pardo doesn't
So well
have
named
any
as well.
permanents in play.
Yeah, there's also that. Oh,
There's
look at
also
this. His
that.
Glimmer Post. Gain 1.
Probably would have been a quite a hand if
Yeah.
Knight didn't come down on turn
Yeah.
2 on the play, fetching up Wastelands and double wasting.
Life from the Loam. Sees Centaur Vine Crusher, a Forest, and a Chalice, which is still in there. I'm really not sure about Chalice. I mean, with Mox Diamond, sure, but still, like...
That's very true. It's an interesting card in this matchup. It can shut up some very important cards, but not the main core of the deck. So Crespo is gonna continue to Life from the Loam.
And this is where
Only
we see...
2 lands. Very interesting.
This is as close to a lock as you can really get here.
Yeah, I believe so. So he's just gonna attack with his now or self 5/5 Knight. He might just want to be able to take up 2 lands every turn to make it a 4-turn clock.
For sure. Okay.
Putting more pressure onto Pardo here. So what we're gonna see here most likely is the flashback of, or I mean the dredge of Life from Loam every turn, hitting 3 lands this turn,
Nice.
and taking up the right amount of lands to put his opponent on a exact clock every turn. Because the only card he really cares about in his graveyard is that Wasteland right now.
And right now that Wasteland isn't doing much against the Misty Rainforest, although we're going to see here, is this going to be Liliana?
That's right.
What do you think of that play?
I do like playing Liliana here. It doesn't seem like he has too much to do with his mana regardless.
Yeah.
I would have liked him to play Liliana the same turn maybe as as he played the live from low and double wasted. Reason being that Pardo didn't do much with his mana anyways on that turn, so I don't believe he would regardless. And having that Liliana now being on like 6 or 7 counters would have been quite opposing.
Would have been crippling, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, especially considering that the lands we saw were Cloud Post, Cloud Post, Glimmer Void, Glimmer Post.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, not the. I mean, good lands, but
Sure.
not hugely pressuring at that point. So yeah, perhaps you're right.
Yeah, we shall see what he assembles here. Pardo definitely being on the edge of losing here because he faces down Lethal and Liliana. So he really has to show up with something amazing here.
Down to 6 with the Misty.
It seems that way.
And it's going to be Tundra.
Alright, so hopefully he can produce us Sorcerer Plushes here to prolong this game a bit longer.
Going to have to find something.
Might be that the white source was actually the only thing he was looking for here. And it seems like that's exactly...
Brainstorm.
We have a Brainstorm. Good card.
Have a couple more looks. 1, 2, and 3 cards off the top here.
Which means he's going to see 3 extra cards to try to find that Sorcerer Plushes. Might be his only saving grace here.
And no shuffle effect as it stands now. So
I don't believe so, and I believe this is a Brainstorm at end of turn.
Yeah.
Most likely because he didn't have another white mana. If he had another white mana, he could have gotten 1 card deeper into his library, trying to find that Source Plushes much more with higher chance rate of actually finding it. So we'll see if Pardo can find his Source Plushes here.
I think Aurelio, though, sitting very pretty at this stage. I think his deck has really fired on all cylinders this game.
Definitely. Even if he kills this Knight of Reliquaries, his Source Plushes.
So Santillana discarding Emrakul there to shuffle this graveyard back into his library.
That's a way to shuffle it. There we have a shuffle effect.
There we have a shuffle effect. So he's going to be hoping beyond hope that the top card is some kind of an answer, preferably a Swords to Plowshares, I would imagine.
Clever enough, Pardo actually brainstormed in response to the Liliana discard effect, I believe.
Yeah, of course.
So he could discard Emrakul and net a shuffle effect out of it. Kind of genius play.
Yeah.
Not bad. Some high level stuff going on there.
Yeah. That's pretty advanced. All right, Santillana.
Right.
What do we got?
Time to deliver.
Thinks about playing a land. Thinks again. Has a third think. And it is going to be a Vesuva. Okay.
Are we he was pointing at the crossbow.
And Candelabra of Tornos. Okay, well,
I might have missed something here in life totals and all, but I believe he's facing down a lethal knight, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't miss anything.
Playing to you got to play to out. Sometimes you let your opponent make the mistake, and sometimes they do. But unfortunately, Santillana with look at you can see there a prime time in there and a bunch of lands. Not a lot going on. Unfortunately, I think basically his best out there was hoping his opponent would accidentally hit F6.
Yeah,
that was more or less.
That
was more or less how he was going to win that game. But that is that Aurelio taking it down handily, 2-1. As we welcome you back to the at Bazaar in Madrid, Riley Knight alongside the Pro Tour champion and all-around sweet bloke. It is Joel Larsson. We'll be joined by Raphaël Levy in the booth before very much longer between the rounds. So don't go anywhere. We'll be very happy to bring you more action here from Bazaar of Moxen Madrid. More Legacy. What were your thoughts? It's great to see some of these.
Definitely.
Some of these decks come out to play.
We saw a wide range of different decks here. We saw Show and Moat. Which is like the Swedish name.
That's very good.
We had some Delver going, 4-color Delver.
Yep.
We had some
with the Jund grinding away like that.
Jund grinding away with Knight Reliquary.
And a little bit of bug, but not the hugest amount there like that.
And we saw some exactly. some Alluran, trying to be Alluran.
But yeah, didn't quite get there. We're actually going to grab the winner of the round and bring him into the booth here. So I'll be pleased to have a chat with the player of Jund. It was Crespo there.
Guess, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be him being my guest, but sure. I mean, you can play it like that. But once again, I mean, just in case you didn't realise, a pleasure to be with you here in the booth this weekend. It's once again, it's a true privilege to be surrounded by the cream of the crop in European talent, and it's great to have you along. I'm just some Australian dribbler from the Southern Hemisphere who managed to walk into the situation. It's fantastic, and we're very pleased to be bringing you live coverage here out of Madrid, Spain, of the greatest minds in legacy coming together like that. We did talk about it being a Wild West format.
Yes.
It is wide open, really.
Yeah, for sure. I saw some card choices that I've never seen in legacy before in just the first match that we had. So it's going to be very interesting to see this legacy tournament go on.
Well, let's get another perspective from the horse's mouth, as it were. We can see Crespo Allegro waiting out just there. Thanks for your company, y'all. We'll see you again very soon,
see
mate.
You in a bit.
And right now it's time to talk to the man who we just saw take down that event rather handily. Here he comes, going to step into the booth, going to welcome him in here. It is Senor Crespo Allegro, mate. Come in, have a seat. How are you? Congratulations. Stick that one on your noggin there, mate. Well done indeed. So we managed to see your entire game, and it was we were discussing how your opponent's deck seemed to be a bit of a hybrid.
Sorry.
So we were saying that your opponent's deck, he was playing bit of show and tell. There was moat, there was terminus, all sorts of things. What were your thoughts? How did you see your way getting to a victory there?
Yeah, I thought because on my strategy, he plays a lot of non-basic lands, so I thought from the beginning of the second match, I thought with Knight of Reliquary, Wasteland, right from the one, I must play with around these cards for win the game. Because if he had a lot of lands, we will play all his cards so good. So Primeval Cheetah, Emrakul, Moat, or similar cards. In game one, I closed him very nice with Centaur of Vine-Chrysler.
Yeah.
Vine-Chrysler. In second match, my mistake with Containment Prince.
That was yes, a little bit like that.
I forget.
You won't make that mistake again, huh?
Yeah. So I saw the time. I saw the time. I thought that I don't have nothing to get out the Moat. Only have Liliana of the Veil. I don't get nothing with only with that.
That's it. So pack them up.
Yeah. And on game started 3, I saw a lot of. I saw that my started hand. I can close him very close with very fast with Life from the Loam
and Wasteland
with Reliquary. And I saw that he plays a lot of non-basic lands. And in the same turn, I close him with the 2 Wasteland in the same turn.
We at that point in that game when you're sitting on a huge knight and he has 0 permanents in play. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling. You're dredging back the loam. You're playing 1-2 Wastelands a turn. Like I didn't see a way out of that game where you weren't going to win. That seemed to be a very, very strong position straight away. Yeah.
It's so nice in this position because I can play anything to kill him.
Yeah, for sure. It's just you're just gonna mop it up with whatever's left, and there you go.
Right.
So your deck it's Jund more or less, or sort of Abzan Jund.
It's similar. It's Agro Loam of Quattrocolor. And I want test. In last days I tested a lot with Centaur Vine-Chrysler.
Yeah. So how has this card gone for you?
It's so good because versus him is not too very well. That he plays Words to Browser. It's not too fine, but versus other decks like similar with Grizzly's Pyromancer or similar.
Lightning Bolt.
Bolt.
Anything with that. Yeah.
Normally it's used to be 7/7, 8/8 because he counts all lands.
All the lands, yeah.
Don't affect Abrupt Decay. Dismember is not enough to him, and it's so recurring because whenever
it comes back, yeah.
Even when you dredge Life from the Loam, when you put land, other thing, and central organizer paying to
Oh, of course you can do it even
you
after
can
dredging. Yeah,
back
yeah.
to hand.
Jeez, yeah. So sort of the whole package of redundancy, resiliency. It doesn't die to abrupt decay. It doesn't die.
In this day, I sacrificed one Knight of Reliquary for and one abrupt decay for playing 2 Centaur of Brain Crazer. After all match and even yesterday, I thought including the 3rd Centaur of Brain Crazer.
You're playing 3.
Now I play 2.
No, 2. Yeah.
But
Yeah. 4 mana is a lot. Yeah.
But 3 is so.
Yeah, it's quite a number, but it seemed very powerful. I mean, it ended the game very quickly as a 10/10 trampler. So
playing this deck with life from the low hand, punishing fire, you always recurring life from the low hand, punishing fire, and now I have the 3rd.
And now you have a 10/10 trampler that gets in there. Yeah, absolutely. Really interesting to see your deck, and congratulations on the round 1 win.
So
We'll see more of you in the feature match area, I'm sure, with this aggro loam deck, a deck I know that many people are going to be very high on, especially after seeing such a convincing performance. We'll be right back with more Legacy here at Bazaar of Moxen, Madrid. Before very much longer, don't go anywhere.
See you.